Hey everyone, I'm Jamie. Welcome to the next installment of our Brotherhood videos. I just want to say I so appreciate that you're taking time to watch these, to listen to these, because it's really an investment in your heart and in your spiritual growth. And so the fact that you've taken this time shows that you're hungry and that you want more of what God has for you. Today I want to talk to you about anger. And as men, this is something that a lot of us, I don't know, I might say struggle with or have dealt with or have experienced. And so I think it's just important to take time to talk about it and, what should this look like in our life? I think anger does show up in our lives in a lot of different ways. And depending on your personality, how you're wired, how God made you might deal with anger a little differently. I think there's a few kind of basic approaches. The first is the aggressive approach. So when someone that has the aggressive approach is angry, you know it. Like there's no hiding it. You hear it, you see it, you experience it from them. Like it's like, okay, they're angry. Another approach is the passive aggressive approach. With this person, you may not know right away that they're angry, but you kind of pick up some hints. They subtly let you know. They might be in some a slight comment or something that you kind of read between the lines or something that they do. You're like, you know what, I think they might be angry. And then the third one is the suppressive approach. This is the volcano. This is someone that just kind of pushes it down and pushes it down and pushes it down until you just can't push it down anymore and the volcano erupts. I got to tell you, this is me. It takes a lot to get me aggressive, but when that volcano erupts, it's not great. So unfortunately, my family has experienced that a few times. And so the thing that I want you to know about anger is that it's legitimate. It's a legitimate emotion that God gave us. He gave us the capacity to experience anger. And what's interesting is God experiences anger. We see that in Exodus 34:6. He says about himself, he says, I'm slow to anger. And so he's got a long fuse, but he has experienced anger. He does experience anger. So anger in and of itself isn't sinful or isn't bad. It's what it leads to. It's how you handle it. And so I think there's kind of two forms of anger. There's a righteous anger and there's an unrighteous anger. Righteous anger is anger that is a motive. It's a motivator toward righteous action. So some examples like when you see injustice, and it rises up in you as anger and it motivates you to bring change, to bring restoration, to bring correction, to bring a righteous rebuke. That might be an example of righteous anger. Unrighteous anger is when we don't handle it the right way and it leads to harm. It leads to brokenness. It leads to destruction. It might even lead to violence. When Jesus was on planet Earth walking and doing his ministry, there's an interesting story where we see Jesus get angry. Actually, there's a couple stories, but one in particular, one of his friends, a guy named Lazarus, he gets word that Lazarus is sick and Lazarus actually dies. And by the time Jesus gets there, a few days have passed and he sees the people weeping and mourning. The shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. He's sad, but as he looks around, there's this interesting little nuance to the story where basically it's implying that he gets mad. Like he is angry. And what is he angry at? He's angry at death. And so what does he do? It leads to this righteous moment, this righteous indignation where he raises Lazarus from the dead. And so again, anger can be something that brings about righteousness when it's handled the right way. But if we're honest, sitting here today, we're probably way more proficient in the unrighteous kind of anger, the anger that leads to harm. So what do we do? What do we do with this? The first thing I think that we should do is we need to recognize when we feel anger. I know that sounds like super, super basic, but I know in my life, a lot of times I don't recognize in the moment, okay, I'm feeling angry. We've gotta acknowledge the emotion, acknowledge that, okay, what I'm feeling right now, this is anger. And it happens so quickly that we just react and the emotion just takes over, it takes control. And that's what leads to regret. How many times have we said something that we wish we could take back, or we did something that we're like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done it, because we let anger just pounce and just do its thing. And so if we could just recognize in the moment, okay, I'm starting to feel angry, recognize it, acknowledge it. And then number two, push pause. Take time to choose what happens next. See, the thing about anger is it when it explodes, like I said, it happens so quickly, and it moves us to speak, it moves us to decide, it moves us to do so fast. So what we need to do, acknowledge, okay, recognize anger, and then push pause. Take a moment, step back, get out of the situation. Don't make a decision angry. When you're angry, like, shut your mouth, stop talking. Don't like I said, make a decision out of anger. Don't discipline your kids out of anger. Push pause, cool down, give yourself time. Like, because with time, you'll go from a 10 to maybe a 5. And so you might still feel the frustration, you might still feel the anger, but when you dial back the emotion of the moment and have time to cool down, you'll have a level head to make better decisions, to speak better words, to do things in a more helpful way. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26, it says, don't sin by letting anger control you. See, that's the thing about anger, is like we lose the battle when we let it be in charge. And so when you recognize it for what it is, and you push pause and you step away, you are taking control back. You're taking charge. You're telling anger, like, hey, you have your place and you can stay here, but you're not going to run the show. That's what we want to get to. In Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29, it says, people with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. So it's foolishness when we just go for it. It's like having a loaded gun and being out of control. And so it can be a tool used in an effective way when it's controlled. So take time, get yourself under control, and then re-engage whatever the situation is. Go from a 10 to a 5 to a 4, whatever it is, and then speak. You'll make much better decisions. You'll have much less regret if you do it. Number 3, I think finally what we need to do is later we need to process our anger. What I mean by that is, I think we should ask some questions like, why did I get angry? What triggered me? Oftentimes with anger, there's something deeper. There's a root thing that causes that emotion. It might be a desire to be in control. It might be fear. I think fear often triggers anger. It could be a lot of different things. And so what we want to do is we want to get to the root of whatever that is and process it prayerfully. Take time, like dig in and uncover like what's really going on in there and why did I have the reaction that I did. I want to remind you that just like when you're driving your car and the oil light comes on, it's like, okay, it's time to get the oil changed. That's what emotions are for us. We don't want them to be in control, but they're great indicators. They're great gauges. They show us, they reveal things that are going on deep within. And so later, after the situation or whatever it is, take time to process why, what triggered, what's really going on. And then that's how growth happens. That's how healing happens. That's how we that's how spiritual growth takes place in our life, is inviting God into those spaces. And I think when we ask ourselves those tough questions, that's really when we can find freedom. And so I think many of us as men, maybe we grew up with an angry dad or an angry coach or a boss or something. Like probably most of us have encountered like the negative side of anger. And probably all of us at some point in our life have kind of promised ourselves, I will never be that. I'll never do that. Only to find ourselves doing the exact thing we said we would never do. I know as a parent, that's been me. Like in the moment, hearing myself and feeling myself go to places I said I would never do that to my kids, and then there I go. And so it's not a surface level thing. This goes deep. Like there's patterns that we've learned. There might be trauma in there that triggers anger. And so I think it's really important to process it and to take time to invite God in, let him reveal, let him show us what's really going on in there, and then go to work and then deal with it and grow and move towards the person God made us, created us to be. So anger is legitimate, but it can lead to righteousness or unrighteousness. And so we have to choose. Thanks so much for watching today. God bless you.